Hello everyone, I'm Matt Evans and welcome to Board Game Replay. In this series, we try to capture the experience of playing a board game by sitting down for a post-game discussion, talking about various elements of the game, and then actually cutting back to replay clips of moments that we found fun or exciting. Now the game we're going to be playing today is Eclipse, New Dawn for the Galaxy, along with the Rise of the Ancients expansion and the Ship Pack 1 expansion, which I'll explain a little bit more about what these add to the game if you stick around for the rules overview we're going to do in just a bit. But if you're not familiar with Eclipse, it's obviously, as you can tell, a very large-scale game with a lot of components. This is what's known as a 4X game, which stands for Explore, Expand, Exploit, and Exterminate. I think I got all those. And that's exactly what you're going to be doing in this game. You're just basically controlling an empire, doing all of those things, trying to become the biggest and best empire, and scoring victory points while you do that. Now, I'm going to get into a brief rules overview here, as brief as I can make it. I said it's kind of a big game. But for those of you who are already familiar with this game, you don't need that overview. I'm going to provide a link right up here, as well as down in the description of this video in the index. That'll let you skip right to the main part of the video where we start our discussion. But for those of you who aren't familiar with this game and you would like a little bit more explanation before we get into our discussion, we're going to do that right now. Alright, so I'm ready to jump into this, but I want to give two quick notes here. First of all of our ships here, normally in the base game, all the ships are basically generic. Each faction has the same ships, but all in different colors. But they do sell a Ship Pack 1 expansion, which I have here, and that gives a unique ship type, four different unique ship types for each expansion, as well as obviously being in different colors. And it doesn't really have much of an effect on the game, it just kind of gives you something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, because in the base game, all of the ships look the same. In addition, this also comes with a few little small upgrades, some extra little bonuses in there as well. But just so you know, if you're looking at it wondering why your ships look different from this, if you ever pick this up. Also, this mat here does not come with the game. This mat is something we just found a high-resolution image on Board Game Geek, printed it out from a banner website, basically, and this just helps represent the different spaces, the different sections you can go to around space. It's totally not necessary to play it. It just kind of gives us a kind of a cool thematic taste to the whole space in front of us. So as I mentioned, this is a game where you're taking control of an empire. You're trying to create the largest, biggest, most successful space civilization. You're trying to build your empire, and you're going to do that in a lot of different ways. And basically what you're going for is scoring victory points. And there are a number of different ways to score victory points in this game. One of the biggest ones is controlling territory. So at the start of the game, you can see these four different factions are set up here. We all have our own single territory that we control, and we have our little discs on here, influence discs, to represent that we own that space. And this space is worth 3 victory points. So if all of us are still holding these spots by the end of the game, we'll each have 3 victory points for it. So as I mentioned, there are a lot of other ways to score victory points in this game, and the best way for me to explain this is to probably just walk you through kind of a basic round and talk about some of the actions you can take. So this game takes place over 9 rounds, and each round players are going to take actions one at a time and then move on to the next player in clockwise order. You start with the first player, I take 1 action, go to the next player, they take 1 action, and until so on and so forth until players decide to pass. Basically, flip your card over when you don't want to go anymore, and once all players have passed, then you move on to the next part of the round. And the reason why you do that is you actually, as you go along the game, every time you take an action, you're going to be removing a disc from this board here. So for example, as you can see over here, whenever you take an action, you take one of these discs and slide it to whatever action you're taking. And as the round goes on, you're going to take more and more actions, and you can take the same action multiple times. There's no limit to that. But eventually, you can see as I am pulling discs off here, I'm revealing the next highest number, which is a higher and higher cost at the end of the round. So it really keeps you in check as to how many actions you can really take in a round, because everything gets more and more expensive. Also, as the game progresses, these tokens here actually double as your influence for different areas of space. So as you find new tiles that you want to take control of, you actually have to remove discs from this track and place them on those planets. So it gets more and more expensive as your civilization expands, which actually makes a lot of sense thematically. So at the end of the round, you're going to have to pay your upkeep here. But also up here, you'll notice these are your different resources you're going to get in the game. This top one is money, the next one is science, and the bottom one is materials. And so these work in a similar way to this track here, where your costs keep expanding. Throughout the game, as you explore new planets and you take control of them, you're going to actually be able to take the cubes, like you can see over here, off of these different tracks depending on the spaces, and place them there, revealing the next highest number, and then that represents you gaining more and more of that material every round. So it's a really cool system of how it all balances out. So one of the first actions you can take is exploring. And you take an explore action, like I said, you move one of your cubes up here, and then you're going to draw depending on which type of tile and space you're going to move to. You've got 1s here, you've got 2s here, or 3s all back here. And depending on the orientation of the tile, your ships can only really explore in certain directions. So you're going to point to a spot you want to explore over to. You're going to grab one of those tiles. You're going to flip it over. You're going to look at it, and you're going to place it here. If you decide if you want to place it, you can place it down, or you can throw it out. The reason you do that is that sometimes you might flip it over and see like a particularly bad alien on there that you don't want to fight, or just maybe crummy resources that you don't care about. So now that I've flipped this tile over, I can then have the option right now to take one of my discs, place it on here, and now I own that tile. Now again, as I mentioned before, there are different resources, little spots that I can place my cubes on. Each player also has these actions here, these colonize actions, where you take them over, you flip one, and then I'll take, let's see, there's an orange spot available, so there's a money available, so I'm going to spend one colony action here, and I'm going to place that cube on there, and now look, I'm making more money. That's cool. And you basically get to do these, most races get 3 of these, some of races get 4 of them, but basically you can use these at any time during your turn. You can flip them over to place one of your cubes from those tracks onto a particular space. At the end of the round, these all refresh, or another action you can take is the influence action, which lets you refresh 2 of those. It also lets you move some discs around, do a little more complex stuff, but that's another way to get those back. So in the beginning of the game, a lot of players are going to be rushing to take explore actions and get those cubes placed as quickly as possible because it helps you, it just gives you more money, it gives you more production, it gives you more resources, and so on and so forth. Now the next action I want to mention is the research action, because I've kind of already covered influence. The research action is where players are going to be buying new technologies from the technology track and then putting them on their player boards and basically giving themselves these technologies for their civilization. Now technologies are a pivotal part of the game. It's really where all of the cool customization and upgrading comes from in the game. And the way the technologies work is, we've got 2 technology boards. This is a reduced size one we've got up here for obviously our table constraints, but this is the one that comes in the main game, so I'm just going to lay it down here. And you can see here on the side there are 3 different tracks of technologies, and those are just 3 different types that exist in the game. They're all kind of related to one another some way. And at the start of the game, we're going to put a certain number of these tiles out on the board based on the player count, but also at the end of every round, we refresh this and add additional tiles to it. So you're going to grab a handful of these from this bag here, and you're going to place them on the spots where they belong. So we've got some advanced labs and advanced robotics. Anyway, you get the idea. So these tiles are going to end up stacking. Whenever there's duplicates, they're going to be piled up on top of one another. And these are always available for the players to essentially buy using science, their science resource when they take that research action. And once you own this technology, as an example here, once I own this plasma cannon technology, this is going to sit on my player board. I'm going to add it here to the appropriate track that it belongs on, the appropriate type. And then on a future turn, there's an upgrade action you can take, and that upgrade action allows you to basically go into the box of tiles, or I can even look on here, it's probably a better example. All the available technologies you have to your civilization at the beginning are right here. These are all the very basic ones that you can use for upgrades, but then these are all the different ones that you can unlock, which are much more powerful versions basically of what's over here. So if I had the plasma cannon technology on my player board, when I take the upgrade action, I can then actually get plasma cannons and place them on my ships and upgrade them. And that happens for basically a bunch of different ship parts. There's shields, there's additional drives so your ships can go faster. And most importantly, there's things that basically upgrade the computers on your ships to make their accuracy better. Lots of those upgrades. And once you own those technologies, you can then use the upgrade action to put them on your ships. And typically an upgrade action allows you to pull 2 tiles and put them on any of your ships in any order you want, replacing anything you've already put there, replacing some of the existing tiles, the default specs for your ships and things like that. So it's really, really interesting, and you can create a completely unique fleet each game. Now that I've talked about upgrading your ships and making them stronger, we can talk about the next action, which is the build action. And again, I'm going to show you my player board here, just as kind of a reference. So down here, obviously, this is where your technologies are going to go, but then up here are the different types of ships you have. And these all have a build cost associated with them that you pay in materials, that third resource, the brown resource. And you basically take the build action, then you can build the number of ships that your species is allowed to build. Most species in the game basically get 2 builds when they take this action. And that means you can build any 2 ships in here, 2 of the same, mix it up however you like to do it, and you pay their build costs in your materials, and then you get to put it on any space on the board that you own. Now, I was just mentioning here the upgrade action before, so as these ships get upgraded, the ones you're bringing out, they're going to be more and more powerful as time goes on, because you're going to be placing those upgraded tiles on top of them. And what's really cool is you could have 3 ships out on the board, and then you take an upgrade action and start filling these, putting better cannons on there and better shields and things like that. And your ships on the board just automatically get those. So you really never waste money in building and buying ships. You just basically you want to keep upgrading them and make them as strong as possible. And so now that I've covered that, I think the last action I want to talk about is movement, which is kind of the the core of the game. Once you have a space next to you and you've got ships in it that you've built, you can take a move action to move, and again, it's going to depend if you're playing humans or aliens. When you take a move action, you get a certain number of movement spaces per action, right? So if I take a move action as a human here, there's little 3 arrows. That means I can move up to 3 times. So I can move up to 3 times, and that means I can take one ship and activate that ship 3 times, or I can activate 3 separate ships 1 time. And the reason I make that distinction is that, again, on these tiles here, you can end up buying upgraded engines for your planes, or basically they call them drives. And those drives, whenever they move, like you might take one movement action for a ship. If it has a drive with a 3 on it, that means that thing can go 3 spaces with 1 movement activation. So you can kind of see how this game starts to really speed up over time. Your ships end up, at the beginning of the game, they can barely move, but as the time goes on, you get these really powerful ships, your move actions get stronger, and so on and so forth. Now, if you ever take a move action and end up on a tile with another player's forces or any of their objects or anything like that on it, that means there's going to be a combat at the end of the round. And combat is always resolved at the end of the round. So players can move ships on top of one another and have their armies move into a space and get ready to have this big fight. You can kind of all see it brewing, but that combat doesn't resolve until the very end of the round after everybody is passed. So combat is kind of this cool climax of every round. It's really neat. And of course, combat also applies to any of the neutral alien ships that you might run into along the way. When you take explore actions, you can sometimes run into these aliens and they can attack you, and you have to fight them in combat just the same as you would on another player's forces. But basically, when you go to resolve combat, you're going to be rolling dice at one another. And by default, every time you roll the dice, just as a general rule, a 6 is always a hit and a 1 is always a miss. And now, if at the beginning of the game, your ships have very few upgrades on them. The majority of the ships in the game need a 5 or a 6 to hit, or your really small ships, they only hit on a 6 because they have no additional computers to increase their accuracy. But you can see some of these other ships you start with here, your cruisers and your dreadnoughts, they all start with an electron computer, which means it's a +1 to the die roll. So that means if you roll a 5 or a 6, it's going to be a hit. Makes sense. You can eventually upgrade this to +2s and +3s, and you can put multiple computers on the same ship, increasing your accuracy to a point where you only miss on 1s. So you really have a good way to mitigate the luck in this game if that's the way you want to play it. And again, most of the ships start out with these little single cannons. They do 1 damage when they land a hit. So if I rolled 2 of these dice, no matter what I roll on them, if I get a hit, it's 1 damage, right? 1 damage per die. And then eventually you can upgrade to those plasma cannons that I was talking about before. And for basically each plasma cannon you have loaded on that ship, you roll 1 orange die. For every hit you land with a plasma cannon, you do 2 damage. So again, regardless of what your accuracy is, if a plasma cannon hits, it's always going to do 2 damage. And lastly down here, we've got the antimatter cannons. Whenever these land a hit, they deal 4 damage, which is absolutely brutal. And the way combat works basically is you start in initiative order. Each ship has a certain initiative value based on how fast it is. You can upgrade that as well. And the fastest ships attack first, and you attack with every one of that type of ship that you have in the battle. And then whoever's the next fastest goes. It could be your ships again, it could be their ships, and you basically just go back and forth until everybody in that space has been eliminated. And after combat is resolved, here's another way to score victory points in this game. Each player that was involved with the combat is going to draw a certain number of these victory point tiles out of this black bag. Now, there's a certain distribution of valued victory point tiles, anywhere from 1 to 4 victory points in here, obviously with 4s being the most rare. But depending on how many people you destroy, or ships you destroy in the battle, you're going to draw a certain number of these tiles to a maximum of 5. You basically look at all of them secretly, no other player gets to see this, and then you get to choose one of them. It's always choose one, and you place it on your victory point track here. So everybody has this little track, and they can hide these victory points on there. The cool part about this is that even if you get into a combat, someone comes into your space and totally destroys you and you lose, you still get a chance to draw 1 tile because you were involved with the combat. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for my brief overview of this game. As I said, there's a lot going on here, there's a lot to explain, but I don't want to go into too much detail and bore you to death. The last thing I want to say, though, is as I mentioned, we are playing with the Rise of the Ancients expansion, and this is a really cool, it's a modular expansion. This is my favorite type of expansion, where you basically have a bunch of different ways to expand the game, and you can just drop a few of them in as you get comfortable as time goes on, which is really, really cool. And most notably, the thing we're going to be adding to this game is rare technologies. Rare technologies are additional technologies that you put and shuffle into the bag at the beginning of the game. Actually, I got a couple right here. They don't have a specific type, so these just end up next to that track. And you can buy these as well whenever you take a research action, and you can place them on any one of the tracks that you like, so you help yourself get discounts with different types of stuff. And these rare technologies are awesome because there's only 1 copy of them in the game, so you want to rush to get that one that you really want. You want to save up and wait for that good one to drop out of there. But yeah, we're also playing with a couple other things, but I'm not going to go into detail on those. But I recommend, if you ever pick up this game, definitely check out the expansion. I mean, the base game is awesome itself, but the expansion really adds just a lot of extra cool options to go into. All right, well, that's definitely going to wrap it up for the overview. If you have any questions or anything you'd like me to clarify, please feel free to leave a comment below or shoot me an email. All that information is in the description as well. With that being said, let's get to the game.
No, I guess it wouldn't have been bad
33.
if I'd lost.
Squeak that one. You guys both had 33?
34.
34 and 32.
34 and 32.
So
33. That's
33
that's
points.
2 points away. That was really close.
What'd you do?
35.
35.
Wow.
Just barely. Anybody have any species bonuses for the end of the game? No? Only Isaac had the 2 tiles at the beginning.
Oh yeah, what was your one? Yeah, what is that? Did you count those?
One
Victory point
victory-
for each space you explored.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Hang on, dude.
1,
Which
2,
one?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more points for Brian.
What?
Oh.
We got to check that one.
Yeah,
That's
double check the
a
rule.
crap load of points.
Yeah, in your face.
Species. All right.
Oh, would that even it up?
Bronza. Here we go.
I feel like
7
that's
more.
the time I
Yeah,
won
one
Munchkin
extra
off
victory
Divine
point for
Intervention.
each hex you control at the end of the game.
I was
1,
gonna
2,
say-
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So you have 38 and he had 32.
I had 34.
He did
34.
I had 34. He had 32. So now you have 39 and 34.
No, he got. Oh yeah.
He was 32 plus 7.
39 and 34. That's more than
That's
35.
36.
That's 36. You.
Oh yes!
Oh my God! We're just like, hang on, let's do a quick last check to see if there's any extra bonus.
I totally
points.
forgot about your.
I looked at it.
Well, we're like, is there any species bonuses? No, I don't think so. Brian has a massive 7 victory point one that we just completely ignored. Did you count that too, by the way?
Yeah, I counted
Okay.
the little 2 there.
2-pointer.
God, that was close. Well, one thing we just forgot to mention now that this video started is that we're all wearing different clothes because that game was epic to the level of we all went home and came back a different day to finish. We got 8 rounds in.
Yeah.
It's a big game. And
Yeah.
I mean, that last round was... We were sitting there going, oh, it's round 8, let's just finish it up really quick. And it was like 11:30 on like the middle of the week.
real
We're
quick.
like, this isn't going to be quick. We all knew it. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, the round will be long. Then we're gonna talk about it.
Right,
So.
yeah. The last round of the game is like every move counts. I mean, literally, barely anything happened at the end. It was like a couple of small little combats,
Yeah.
but it was like all of our turns we were just like this.
Yeah.
Like we didn't stop. Like it was so intense. So these guys decided like early game to, well, Jeremy was a little bit afraid because I made an early move on him, and
he attacked me.
We can watch that first. All right.
Going in the middle. That's the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's not.
right
Bring it.
there. Okay.
I don't like this alien Draco BS.
And what do they have? 1 health, huh?
Can't look. Can't look at my.
I can't.
You look at my ship. You have at least one
So
ship
Brian.
in a hex that has no population. Remove the previous control's influence.
Just saying. 1,
Two.
2, 3. Just saying.
Oh. And I just take a -2 for doing that.
No. Join Alliance. You can move my spaces. I think we do it.
Attack.
Well,
Isn't it funny that Jeremy wants to align right when he gets attacked? Right as soon as he gets attacked, he's like, "Hey, Brian, let's make an alliance."
No, I was talking about it earlier.
He's about to get wrecked.
You're
by
gonna take
2
one
little
ball.
ships.
You take one
2
zone.
little ships versus no ships.
I still have to fight the aliens
Yes, you
first too. I still have to kill the aliens first. What are we doing here? Are we going or what?
Brian, do you want to Alliance and do that?
What do you gain?
Strong ally.
Strong ally. You look pretty weak right now, brother.
I think I have the most victory points right now. 2.
I don't want to lose my ship.
2. You won't lose a battle cruiser against his 2 little things.
Do you remember last time we played?
It would be equal dice, though. It would be the same
Yes.
exact dice.
I had greater dice
So,
than the alien.
not to-
And I
not to
lost
stir
all-
the pot, but
all
like,
3 of them I
You
lost.
realize that Jeremy wants you to align with him and then make you do all the risking in this battle, right? You understand what that's happening?
I don't want to. I don't want
He
to
wants
lose. I
you to
don't want to
become
risk
his
the
ally and
dreadnought.
put all of your ships at risk. Well, technically they become his ships.
What are you
to
talking
be fair.
about? Yeah.
They become his ships too because you guys share victory points at that point. So, if you guys align, you have to care about each other. So,
A line like in the game?
Yeah.
full blown. There's diplomatic alliance. There's diplomatic relations, which they have right now. That's
Okay.
the cubes. Once they have that, they can establish a full-blown alliance, and they can be cooperative.
Can it
for the
go
rest of the
3-on-1?
game. No, not in a 4-player game. It's limited to 2-on-2. So they join up, and now they play the rest of the game cooperatively. Like, they can move onto each other's spaces no matter what. But at the end of the game, they have to add up their victory points and then divide by 2. They have to average their victory points.
When we do an alliance, is there any like resource sharing or anything like that?
No. Do you guys want to be in alliance?
Okay.
Do that.
I love how quickly that happens. Like, the first time someone gets even attacked. Jeremy, that was well played on your part. You were totally screwed until you made that decision. Now we're going to resolve combat her. So my ships have the initiative.
You have 2 yellows.
I got 2 yellows. I'm going to roll it and then choose where the hits go.
You have what? 2 yellows, man?
What's your defense over there?
3.
Hit and hit.
What'd you go? 6
Hit and hit. What's this?
It has 2 shields. Or it has a hole and 1 out, so you can kill it. Okay. I absorbed 2 hits for you, Brian. It's all to you now.
Worth it.
I believe in you.
Do you have any negatives?
No.
Nope. So 5 and 6 hits.
Don't do it.
You add them together, it's 5.
Retaliating. Oh, boom! 2 more hits.
It's okay. He's got 1 more hit.
Oh man, I want to win this so badly. 4, 5, and 6.
Oh.
They hit on 4, 5, and 6. Don't kill me, please.
Yes!
Oh no! Oh, you allied punks.
Yes! Yeah, I'm not just gonna let you invade my base. What is that?
Yeah, so I was a little bit upset at Jeremy just quickly crying for help and Brian. I was like more annoyed with Brian just signing on board to that. I was like, what are you doing?
We already had a diplomatic partnership.
Yes.
We just expanded upon that.
That's true.
I sent my dreadnought in to help out.
And Matt rolled all 6s or something.
No, I just had those really powerful early
He
game
promptly
ships.
died.
Yeah, so when these guys join the alliance, as soon as you do that, your scoring is now average. So all of your teammates have to do well, otherwise you're going to lose. You can't just join a team together and then sit back and let one person crush. So these guys actually worked really well as a team, and I'm pissed about that.
The only
That was
reason,
so close, though.
the only reason it even worked out is because he got the wormhole early, and then I flipped this wormhole tile, so he was able to travel quickly into my space.
That was good, though.
And help out. There was I mean, you can talk about a few of them that happened over there, but this whole area for half the game was a battle at the end of every round.
We were fighting constantly.
Lost
You guys
like
are all over it.
13 ships and star bases or whatever.
I lost so many ships that I could not build anymore except for these little watermelon dinghies at the end of the game. That's all I had. I was just hoping, Matt, I hope you don't just scoot across here and nuke my place.
My race is really aggressive. All my ships are really cheap, and I start the game with... yes, I can build like the...
Build and upgrade.
My build action is 3, and my upgrade action is 3. So this species was basically all about building a lot of stuff and moving it quickly. So the way we played this in the past, we always just explore like crazy. Like this is what we always do because we want to get resources quickly.
That's why I picked this race, because it was cool. You can ignore the aliens, and you flip 2 tiles to explore and pick the one you want. So like this is where I started. All the ones near me are really good tiles.
Yeah, they were really good because you were cherry picking them.
Yeah, I was
which
picking
is
on
awesome.
And you can see over here, they're not so good. Which really hampered my ability.
Well, you had to know. I mean, your species 2 started as actually what you and I were talking about the other day because we had taken a couple days off to finish the game. But the species we had chosen for you was that one. We picked an alien race. We chose it for you before you got here, and we were like, hey, here's how this race works. So I think that, to be honest with you, that race you're playing is a very difficult race. It's an advanced race.
It starts with a bunch. You start with a bunch of money that you can spend, but you also start with not as many actions.
Yep. 2 less influence discs
for the cost.
So
right. So I get -1 no matter if I take no actions. I have -1.
That goes,
and
rough.
for endgame, you have 2 less discs than everybody.
Yeah,
so
and I didn't really. I'll be honest. Like I was really excited to get into this, and I was in the mindset of the humans, which we played more recently, which was all evened out. It was like bland.
Everybody's the same.
Gray characters that have nothing special to them at all.
Yeah, everybody's exactly the same.
Yeah. So I had that in my mind, and I had like this game plan, and I was like, "What? Why is this happening?" Like I would do 2 turns, and by round 5, I was taking 2 turns and being like, I would go bankrupt. Okay, pass.
Yeah.
And everybody was taking 5, 6 turns.
Well,
Yeah,
It was a tricky race.
Whatever had in my head, it totally didn't work. I was 10 points off from the level of what you guys were at. Even if you didn't average your points,
you guys were 32.
I was almost 15 points away from being into that category.
Racking up the points over there.
I love these types of games, though. It's a lot of fun, and especially like Jeremy helping me out at the end. Like that's why I kind of like these games. Is like, oh, we have we're buddies.
Yeah,
Enemy, help me out.
You burned me so bad in that last turn.
What's the saying?
I hope you like that space because it was going to be dirt.
I know.
What's the saying? Enemy and my enemy is my friend.
That's right.
Could not be more true in this
That's
game.
right.
Matt.
Oh.
Nope.
I'm moving.
I Zork.
Twice.
You can only move once. You get a limited movement action with that.
It's no one
It's
arrow.
only one if you've already passed.
You could move this into there. Since you already own this space, you move that into there.
That's a good point.
Because you already own it. You're not going to lose the space no matter
true.
what.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, Matt could go like 3 times.
No, you move in, they're pinned. He can't move out of there.
Oh yes, thank you.
Pin me.
You son of a... Let me
Thank
break
you.
down what for you is just about to happen.
Jeremy just took my turn.
Movement action. Whoop.
Oh,
Wrecked. I would have ruined you and taken all of it. Oh, you suck.
That's the pluses and minuses.
God, that was
Playing
so...
games with Jeremy.
thanks,
All the
Jeremy.
rules.
Dude, that
That's a
was so
good
good. I
point.
mean, I'm his opponent. It was the right
That's
thing
no
to do.
problem, diplomatic partner.
It's true. We have diplomatic
Walk all
relations.
over you. Oh, man, that is such a bummer. Damn.
Oh, and I get to roll 2 dice now.
Yeah, you can actually take them out. You're gonna
All you
kill
need
them.
to do is roll anything but a 1.
And roll anything but a 1 and you got to kill it.
Oh man.
Damn.
That's going to be scary, huh?
You could have taken me out early.
Yeah.
You just happened to
I left
be.
you alone because, I mean,
You can't... 3 enemies is not...
it wasn't good. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the way I looked at it is if I was actually trying to get them to not team up on me, and I mean, it just the opportunity that Brian saw to join at Jeremy was a good move. Like he made a good call at that time, but the whole race. Let me talk about the human thing first. Like
Sure.
when we talk about all playing Terrans or the humans in this game, we always play that and we're all the same. We've really never played with alien races. So when we play the Terrans, everybody just goes, all right, well, we have the biggest difference between humans and aliens is that humans get 3 move actions per disc, and what's the other one too? And it's movements, I think, and builds. Humans get 3 builds too, maybe.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I thought humans get 1 additional one. Hey, let me check.
Don't they usually start with star bases?
Yes.
That's
Okay. So
usually one of the
humans,
things they
the
get.
humans all start with the same star-based technology, as opposed to the aliens who start with their own random technology. And the humans humans can crunch resources 2 to 1. All
Yeah.
aliens are only 3 to
That's
1.
one of the best
so
things.
that's another reason why your race was rough to start, is because you're going, okay, well I can always crunch 2 to 1, and we're like, oh no, it's 3, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It was kind of a shock.
Yeah, I think there definitely was a shock there, and the other thing is when you are humans, you can play off of what you get.
Yeah.
When you have a race that is very specific, you kind of have to go in that direction.
You gotta play to your strengths.
You got to
for sure.
play
And-
to that strength, or nothing good is going to happen out of it. Obviously,
And that's exactly. I think that was the issue that you had in that in the early game.
I don't want to make excuses. I think I had plenty of chances. I made a few bad moves, and that was it. But
Yeah.
it was fun watching you guys beat up on each other, though.
Oh man! From what I've sort of heard, generally people go for the 1s first because they're more predictable. Yeah, generally there's aliens on those tiles, but they have spaces that you can usually occupy. The 3s, you're going to find a lot of the special. They're going to find a lot of the starred components, higher victory point values. Sometimes they're wide open. Like these are pretty rare, but they do show up in the 3. But that's not very good for you. This is much better for you a couple turns in. Whereas we're always just like, all right, let's go for the 3s and get them quick. But I don't necessarily think that's the right idea.
I think that's fair.
I think the 1s are the way to go, because if you look at all the 1s here, they've all got multiple resources on them.
Yeah.
They're lower victory point values, and yes, some of them had aliens on them to fight, but 1 alien is not going to kill you. It's going to kill you, but you could plan for one bad guy.
That's what I didn't do, was go for 1s and 2s. The only time I got a 2 is when I was reacting to somebody else putting something near me, so I would try to block them off from getting to me. I thought, oh, well, I can explore twice, literally explore twice. I flip 2 tiles every time, so I went with 3s, and none of them here I could get 2 points of resource on,
Yeah.
unless I had the technology for it. So this race that's supposed to just span out everywhere and have all this stuff, I expected to have resources like all the way to the end.
Yep.
I had almost nothing for most of the game.
Yeah, that's why I went straight for the middle, because I have the race where I can cohabitate with the alien races, I guess. So I can put my disc down and gain all the I put all my cubes in there early, and then the aliens just kind of sit there next to me.
Yeah. That's an awesome race, and that's where I saw. That's why I made my move on you early, because I looked over here. Isaac had started expanding over here, and there was a bunch of aliens. I was like, I don't want to fight with them yet. And I saw Jeremy here. He had like all this stuff here was all yellow, and I was just looking at it. And you already saw the clip, but I was just sitting here going, he's completely defenseless. I'm gonna move in on this right now. I had like these 2 little small ships, but my character starts the game with a +2 to hit, or positron computers, which are +2 to hit. They give you an initiative. And, there's +2 to hit. They cost a power, but they're +2 to hit and give you an initiative. So your ships, the biggest thing in the game is just being able to hit. The game starts out with your ships are all lousy and you only hit on a 6. So the first thing I did, I was like, awesome, my ships now hit on a 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to go wreck something. And even though I had 2 cheap ships that died in 1 hit, my chances of hitting are much higher than somebody with just a 6. So.
Yeah, well, it all depends on how you build. Like, if you build, if everybody's kind of building a balance or not, like, I saw Matt obviously went all just fire first and kill you.
Glass cannons, and I went pure glass cannon,
So, like, right at the end, I'm like, okay, well, plasma missiles always fire first. So,
you went for the plasma.
All I needed to do is land 1 hit and any of his ships would die.
Yep.
Where the way I was building previously, you needed to hit me at least 2 or 3 times to kill me. So.
On to Jerome and me, 204, right? Take a shot. Take a big shot, and then I'll see if I can retaliate.
I need 1, 4, 5, or 6.
4, 5, or 6 hits. Everything else misses.
Or it's this
Yahtzee on 2s.
Little battle here.
Epic battle, you mean? No!
That was so close.
Oh.
Wow.
1, 1, and 2. Screw you.
Oh, man, that was like, yes, no! Oh, that sucks. All right, well, at least I got some combat in. Now we fight in the middle, right? So it's going to be weak.
It's just it's this or nothing.
Be it.
So
But you just need 1?
You need
I
a
need 1
4,
hit.
5, and 6. That's a 4. Yeah, and you just picked those up the last round too. That was huge.
Yeah, that was my last reserve.
And if you had missed on any of those plasma missiles, you were done. Like if they had missed, then
I would have
killed you in all your
I rolled
spots.
like a 1, 1, a 2, and a 4.
Yeah, that roll was
But
crazy.
hey, you know what though? Like you played it right. That was a
Ridiculous.
really good way to stop me, and I didn't have the money to buy that. I couldn't have bought that. I mean, no,
You could have.
I could have bought.
You bought
I bought an antimatter splitter.
Splitter.
Yeah.
I didn't think you had the science to buy those plasma missiles because I forgot about your crazy discount.
Yeah, it was the last one, so it was -8.
Yeah, and some people you may have heard about this game before. The iOS version of this and the original base game, there was a lot of complaints about the plasma missiles. I personally think they're a little bit strong in the base game. With the expansion, I think that they're perfectly. You can honestly in the base game you can counter them. You just have to pay attention. If you see someone in the base game buy plasma missiles, don't let them boat up and make 50 missiles on all their
If they're
ships.
your neighbors,
Crush them now.
Right.
Like,
If they're your neighbors, you need to get the technology now.
And if you let them go and unanswered, they're going to build missile boats. And missile boats are basically these plasma missiles don't cost energy, so you can just fill your ships with nothing but engines and missiles. And each plasma missile costs no energy and shoots 2 orange dice for 2 damage apiece. Yeah, and you fire before anybody else fires in a battle.
The only thing.
Regardless of initiative, you fire first.
Yeah, it's the only thing that gives you 2 dice per square, so it's really strong.
So it's good, but now that with the expansion, there is rare technologies that will almost always come out. A distortion shield, just a flat -2 to all missiles fired against any of your ships. Like this only
You don't
costs
have to
7.
equip it.
Yeah, I don't have to equip it. It costs 7. I just own this technology. Now it's -2 to all missiles.
Yeah.
And there's another one there, a point defense, which if anybody has missiles and they fire them at you, you can roll to shoot all of your cannons at the missiles. So if you have ships with decent cannons, you can blow up the missiles before they even hit you. So
You got to build ships though. You can't sit back. I mean, it is about exploring space, but the other half of the game is literally you get your resources and you need to build ships.
Yep.
You sit back with nothing, thinking like, oh, I got all these spaces. The next person can roll in with a ship and annihilate everything. You get like this is one thing that I got in the beginning and I put it on the wrong ship. I only thought of it on the last 2 turns.
is that the super drive?
It was the conformal drive. It allows me to move 4 spaces.
It gives you 2 initiative too.
Yeah, had I thrown that on the little tiny guys here that cost 3, and I had
sweet is
neutron
that?
bombs, I could have zipped 4 spaces at a time, bounced around between ships, and just nuked spaces.
ruin other people. Like, look at this. Get back here where there's no defense.
Yeah.
Just zip in there.
One shot, get knocked out, build another one.
That with that other technology though, that
would've
lets
been-
you slip by ships.
Yeah.
What's that called? The stealth ship.
Stealth, yeah.
There's stealth ship, and
Yeah.
there's another one that allows you to. The
Interceptor bay?
wormhole generator. You can go between spaces that you normally couldn't.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
that'd be one of the ways where like you might not have to build big ships. You would just ruin people's resources.
As action packed as this time of playing this game, now that we've kind of learned these aliens, did you guys play?
We played one practice game.
One
with
practice
aliens.
game with
different
this
aliens
that
than
I
this,
wasn't there
but
for.
I played that guy.
Just hearing you say that though, like next time around, like even if we like switch around the characters,
Yeah, I wanna-
get so much more intense.
There's so
Like,
many different aliens. I was looking through them all, and there's a lot of different ones that are interesting.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
one guy who can move 4 ships with one move action. Like, but he doesn't have a dreadnought. Like he can't even build a dreadnought.
Yeah.
So it's some cool trade offs. It's really I
Wow.
really like the different races.
Yeah, there's actually there's even a race to go back what you were talking about there with those ships speeding around. There's the stealth ship, which lets you normally in a space if you move, like if I move this ship into this space, I can't move it through this space again because I'm now pinned by an enemy ship.
There's equal number of ships.
If you have an equal number of enemy to friendly ships, you can't leave the space. So as soon as you bring in an extra one, then you can leave. But that stealth ship technology would just let you go whoop and pass right through a
yeah,
space.
they need 2 to pin
Yeah,
you.
you need two for every one of your ships to pin you. And on top of that, there's another technology, an interceptor bay. I've never actually used it,
Yeah,
but it's.
that's
I
up
got to
there.
read up real quick. I'll tell you what it does. The interceptor bay is. Interceptor bay says each interceptor bay ship part allows you to move up to 2 unpinned interceptors into the ship bay with 1 ship activation. So you can basically move your little interceptor ships inside of one of the larger ships
you
and
have
carry
to-
it around with you.
So you have to
Oh,
have
so free movement.
it's a square you place as an upgrade on
It's a
one of the ships.
It's a 2 energy upgrade to a ship, and it says after each activation, 1 or more interceptors may leave the interceptor bay and then be moved by themselves with further ship activation. So,
So you can put
Yeah.
like 2 of them in a dreadnought.
How much does that
with
cost?
dreadnought.
it's a rare technology that comes up. It can show up on the.
is it expensive or is it pretty cheap?
there.
It is. I think it's 9. Yeah, 9
to
down to
7.
7.
It also gives
moderate.
you armor on the ship. Right?
I was gonna say
It also
That-
yeah, it does give you armor.
that circumstance.
Oh,
though,
it does. It gives you an extra hull.
gives
too.
you one
That
extra hole.
circumstance though of you moving into a space and not actually and wanting to move through it. I know it came up for Brian a couple times, and for Matt, obviously,
My
at the
last
end of the
turn was
game-
the entire. I was
at the
pinned in
end of the
every
game?
spot. I
Well,
wasn't doing
Oh, that's true.
Well, the thing, not necessarily moving through, but being able to move more than one unit in. Like, if I have a dreadnought with 2 interceptors in it, it's 1 move action that moves 3 units.
Yeah, and then at the end of your move action, all the interceptors dump out.
So if I say I had
Every action
say
you
I
can
had
do
2
it.
dreadnoughts with 2 interceptors in each, 1 move action moves 2 ships. That's 6 ships just showed up.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
huge. We completely overlooked it because we're
Yeah,
just like
that's
whatever.
true.
Your currency in the game. There's so many times when you're like, I wish I could move, but it's way over there, and that's 5
Yeah,
move actions to get
that's
there.
true.
Especially playing the humans can move further, and the aliens are all limited to their movement by 1 less, and that could be devastating. But like,
Yeah.
oh, let me load up. That would have been amazing for me. Load up my insane interceptors into a ship and just start cruising around, moving. Because I mean, you can get that other. That with like the stealth ship technology, move that big ship all over the place and just go, oh, let me slide right into the middle here, dump out my interceptors,
Yeah.
and then like boom, that's just cool. I'd love to do that. It's very much a tactical game as it is a strategy game too. There's a lot of tactical decisions to be made. You can have, like Jeremy said, his strategy early game was I'm going to explore a crap ton, and then I went I'm going to kill you because you walked into my area and you're defenseless. And
I
then
thought
he
I
went,
had defense.
and then he went, oh, I got to shift, Mike. That strategy's not going to work. He's got to shift now. And then Jeremy switched out the parts on his ships multiple times to counter me because I just kept upgrading my chances to hit, throwing better guns on them, and making my little 2 ships really powerful because
Yeah.
I was crushing with them and I was doing really well.
Early on, you had just the regular yellow cannon. So I'm like, I can survive that. Just put some armor on, and then
Yeah.
I'll fight. And then you start doing the super cannons. I'm like, oh, I just gotta fire first. And hope I hit.
Yeah, I mean, there was that round of the game that man, we fought over the center. Ryan, I'm excited to see this. Bring it on.
All right, Isaac will roll the dice because Matt cheats.
Okay. I cheated.
Ryan goes first.
I cheated
Nick,
publicly
you have
rolling
initiative.
dice.
Do I?
Yeah, he has 0 initiative.
Hit on the 5 and 6.
We got 5.
1 hit.
1 hit.
Get your little tokens out.
How many do you need? What is it?
Oh, roll for your.
And then
1 hit.
2 of these guys. On a 5 and a 6.
Nice.
Another hit.
2 hits. That's good.
Nice.
What?
Boom.
Yep. Hit.
5. Good
Good.
kill, man. Do you want those tiles?
I'm gonna keep them.
All right. So what do we got here? Let's spread this out.
I have
Did you draw your one, Matt?
I did.
2 initiative on both ships.
I have 4 on all of my
So-
ships. So I'll shoot with the little guys first. So 2 little guys are hitting on. Do you have any minuses to?
Yeah, -2. So
All
you
right.
guys.
So 4 hits to.
You have 2 little guys.
There's 2 little guys firing. 2 little guys.
Onto what? Onto which one?
4 to 1 of them.
4 to 1 of those guys. And now I'm going to shoot with the other guys who I have.
Wait,
One,
what's
two,
Brian,
three
wait, what's your
of, so-
initiative? Brian has pretty good initiative.
No,
Oh,
it's
mine's
2
4 for
on
both
both.
my ships.
Oh,
This
really?
guy has 0 initiative. It
Oh, base.
This thing comes with an extra one.
How are you? That's not.
It's this and this.
What are you doing? You
I have 3
them
of
in there?
those guys, and this is what they're shooting.
I only have 3 in there.
And again, it's.
Oh, what is all that?
That, my friend, is antimatter cannons.
And plasmas. Come on. So, all right. So, so why don't we use this 5 to finish off that first ship? Right? Because it's 2 hits.
Pickle.
Yeah.
Pickle torpedo.
He just takes Isaacs. Take your pickle torpedoes out of here.
Hey, those are the cucumbers, man.
Now, what do you have left for ships on there? You've got your.
I have
this other big
one
dude.
dreadnought and...
So another dreadnought is dead.
Oh, he just instantly dies?
Yeah, 4 hits and another 2. 6 hits to him. He's dead. And then I'll do 4 hits to your base for this guy.
Do I get
One of your bases.
to roll?
Yep.
Yeah, now it's your
All
turn.
right.
Now it's your turn to roll.
Didn't even... They were just like, oh, we did a really good kill on that, didn't we?
Dude, those antimatter cannons are
You need
nasty.
to roll lots of 6s.
You don't have to roll anything. You just have to lose.
5 and 6.
You roll 3 dice.
5 and 6. I got a +1 innately.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's 1.
2 hits. So one of my big ships is dead. Hey, you didn't know he wanted to choose that ship. He could have choose the other ship.
The one with 1 gun or one with 2 guns?
Chosen?
All right.
Yeah.
You're done.
That's it.
So I've got 1, 2, 3. Well, let me shoot my little guy first. 2 little guys. 5 or 6, right?
Nope, -2.
These guys
Yeah,
are
only on a
minus
6.
2, so only on a 6 for that.
Oh.
And then I'm gonna roll
news.
2, and then 2, right? Because I got 2 ships left.
Yep.
2 of the big
Yeah.
ones.
That's it. No,
No,
Hang on, no, it's not quite it.
Still got chips. Just
So,
do one
so
at a
kill
one
the
die.
first one. Kill the first one.
That it takes 1 hit.
Yeah, it's fine. I can only hit him with 2,
Okay.
And then you
and
kill
then
2.
kill 2 more,
No, 1 more.
and then kill 1 more. Yeah.
Or you can split and leave 2 alive with 1 health each.
You can't.
way.
I don't think you can split.
Well, I'm saying
There's 2
4 and
different-
4. Either 4 and 4.
no,
or
I'm killing
8.
as many ships as possible
Okay.
so they don't fire. as
Cool.
often.
I'm just saying. So Brian, 1 orange die left.
Huh.
I only got 4 ships. It'll be all right.
I had 5 ships.
I'm gonna ruin your space.
Nope.
That's a 2.
Negative. Didn't go in.
That's another 6.
So he has 1 hit
From a
left.
small ship.
He's 1 hit left.
And that's another 6.
Boom! Get out!
Gone. 4 points gone.
Like, you took
3
the
times.
center, and it was epic. You took this awesome center battle, and I was like, hey, thanks. And I just I cruised in a couple rounds later, and I just, oh man, I was just ready to punish you.
2 dreadnoughts and 3 star
3
bases.
star bases.
Oh.
All my most upgraded stuff. Extra
Took care of that
hulls.
for me.
Gone. What was it, like two turns? Boop,
Yep.
boop, gone.
Yep,
Yeah.
you just chipped away at the guy, too. When you were fighting him, you were just, like, one at a time.
Yeah.
Like, the big giant base was
Couldn't
firing a
believe
bunch
it.
of guns at you, and it hit you once. And you're like, well, I got 8 shields per guy,
Yeah.
so you're, like, doing 1 damage at a roll, because your guns were wimpy, but you had a ton of shields.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool, though, is, like, it's so tactical. You're like, all right, well, everybody else is going either, maybe Matt's going high hit chance, so... Before this, all these were -2s because you were shutting down my chance to hit.
Well, this is what
That was
this
the
is my
shit,
old
right.
strategy. I was using those 2.
Yep,
So as
-2
you can
is
see here,
gonna
it's
hit.
got -4. So he had +4. So it brought it back to 6 on 6.
Yeah, I could only hit on a 6.
But he was still doing more damage. So then I
Yeah.
started losing.
It's a very social game too because you'll start out like the first few times we played it, we were like all Terrans and we just explored on our own. We're like, okay, it's the end of the game, and we all never touched each other. All we did is fight aliens. It was
It was like
it was fun, but it was anticlimactic.
political race,
We
like-
just turtled and built a huge civilization and a bunch of cool technologies. But then
We-
this one, we were just like, nope, we got to go
Yeah.
hard. And
We
we'll
played
fight each other.
aliens and
Well-
we just murdered each other.
But yeah, last time we were like, oh yeah, those aliens that spawn, we'll attack them, and it was like a race for the center. We fought in the center, but that was just to fight to kill the What is that even? Is that an alien? Or?
It's like GDRS or something. It's like some galactic defense system or something. Yeah, that sits in the middle. Most games I've played, that's where
the action.
The first few games I played, it was that. Like when we were inexperienced, it was like nothing, giant epic battle.
Yeah, you don't want to make an enemy.
Yeah.
I think it was inevitable with Jeremy and Brian's race of being able to flip those tiles and kind of build. I mean, Jeremy can spread like crazy because he never had to defeat an alien unless he really wanted to.
I mean, that's one of the most frustrating things when you explore in the game. You're like, damn it, it's another alien tile. I'm not ready to tech up to that yet.
He was all the way over here.
Yeah, I was trying to build a wall. I got close. I put a wall there, and then that one I had to put that way. So.
Yeah, I was trying to be more patient this time because I was the last times we played, your first time playing, you rolled in with, I don't know what you had for ships, but remember your first combat against like a single alien, or it was like one or two aliens?
Oh, yeah.
I was playing.
You found out the hard one. The hard
just
one.
got ruined.
I got destroyed, and it set me back 2 turns.
Yeah, you were totally destroyed.
Lost everything.
I made sure, like, that's another lesson you have to learn. You're like, well, if I go in and fight this guy, it'd be really cool. I have 3 interceptors. And you're like, well, yeah, but you hit on a 6, and that guy hits on a 5 and 6, and he's rolling almost as many dice as you. The odds are not in your favor.
I did the same thing.
You know?
Yeah.
I did the same thing. Rolled into an alien with 2 guys thinking, it'll take care of
You're
it.
like, oh, if I win, this is going to be so good. Yeah, but what if you lose?
Yeah, you lose. And
you're gonna
I
be
wasted
set back
a whole
for 3
turn
turns,
upgrading. I wasted a whole turn upgrading my interceptors and then building 2 of them.
Yep.
And
You gotta take
they
time.
died. Yeah.
I want to get ahead of Jeremy. I want to beat him to there. I want to get more explorers going. But I'm like, if I do that, all my money's going to be gone. I'm going to set myself so far back. And I was like, no, I'm going to stop early, pass my turn, get a bunch of science, and save it up for a few turns. I remember it was the hardest decision to make, to say, I'm going to stop now instead of buying that pretty good science. I have to be patient and get the really good one. But just to stop early while other people are taking actions, it's excruciating. You're just
It is.
Yeah.
damn it. Oh, he's going. Like, it's so hard to watch.
It's brutal.
But waiting can mean the difference between destroying people or not.
Yeah.
Going back to what Brian was saying about waiting it out, he was telling me for the first 3 turns of the game, Isaac, you really need to wait because the quantum grid is going to drop and you're going to want to buy that. So save up your science. And he told me 3 times to do that. I literally got to that turn and I had a couple science, and Brian bought it that turn, and I was like that he was right the whole time.
Your
I needed to stop buying these little ones and just hunker down for a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait it out.
We should explain. The quantum grid is a technology that gives you 2 additional discs. Everybody starts the game with 3 spare influence discs on the side of their player board, and if they unlock the quantum grid technology, they get 2 discs. There's actually a simple one called Advanced Robotics. It's cheaper. It gets you 1 disc. So by the end of the game, just about everybody's had that, because if you don't, you're just bleeding money. You can't take enough actions to do what you want to do because all your influence discs are all over the board as you expand.
Yeah.
For me, it's almost a must, and I think it would have changed my game around. Being down to -1 at the start of the game is so painful.
Did you even get the Advanced Robotics?
No.
Yeah,
You got one.
I got the Advanced Robotics. I did not get the quantum grid.
So you were pretty hard on.
I was
locked on
I was
patience,
hurt.
Yeah.
The other thing that's nice about patience, which was the opposite of what worked out for me, but if you sit back and wait a second, people don't see you as much of a threat either.
Right.
So Brian or Isaac, they were both slow behind, and Brian was over here kind of hidden. He kind of got beat up early when you were trying to help me, so you just kind of retreated and Matt ignored him. Isaac didn't go and fight him.
I let Brian run away because after crushing him in the center, I was like, Brian's not a threat.
Yeah, and he had the most points in the game.
He won. He beat me. If we were playing a solo game, he would have won. But my aggressive actions is what caused you guys to create the alliance in the first place.
Yeah.
So it all worked out.
Yeah, you attacked me and gave him free reign to grow and be ignored and let him get more points. So
Jeremy, to what your point was earlier about the different things with randomizing the tiles and there's a ton of things that are randomized every game.
the racers.
Yeah, the races have totally different powers. I mean, you could draw random races at the start if you wanted to, but the technologies that come out every turn, drawing a certain number of technology and placing them on that board, that's always different. The tile layout's always different, and I think I think at first glance it looks like, oh, there's a ton of luck in this game. You can get bad luck exploring, combat's all dice rolls, but I don't know. You mitigate the dice rolls. There's 100 ways to mitigate the dice rolls. Sometimes luck is going to burn you, but again, that's randomized. The technology, these are the discovery tiles you get for exploring tiles. Those are randomized. I mean, there's some dice rolls in it. I feel like when there's enough randomization, there's it just keeps the game interesting. As opposed, it doesn't lock you down. I would never say that this game is insanely random. It's
You can't just go in thinking, oh, this is how I'm going to play. This is my strategy.
Right.
It's going to be, here's my race. All right, this is what I'm going to do. Technologies come out. Oh, okay, I guess I'm not doing that.
Right.
Or you do something. I go, oh, all right, no, I can't do this anymore because I'm going to lose, or I'm going to start. I'm not going to be able to compete.
Yep.
You just have to. You got to keep evolving, and then your strategy can kind of come out like mid game out afterwards. Because people are pretty settled.
yeah. Once you kind of get far enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes kind of as it goes. Like if your strategy was to go with plasma missiles, there was only one that came up, and I bought it the last round. Like
It came up in the beginning of
eighth
the
or
ninth
ninth round.
Yeah.
Like so, if that was your strategy, like you can't plan for that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like there's a few of those that either didn't come up at all, or only one or two of them showed up. So.
Yeah. But I think you have so much control in so many different ways that you can go
Yeah.
that it doesn't really ever. You never really get totally locked into a corner.
Like you can't focus too directly on one thing because. Like if you put all your effort and energy into doing one thing, but you get some either bad rolls or the research that you wanted doesn't come up, or in your case, like you flip some tiles and you got some bad exploration tiles, you have to go at least somewhat well balanced and then adapt. All right, this is really strong. I can pick this up. I'll go into that direction.
Yeah.
Yep. All this talk, it just makes me want to play this game a lot more.
I was gonna say.
There's so much more. Like now that we're getting good with this. We're thinking about it. I just want to go and be like, I want to dig through the box, look at all the other alien races. I want to look at because again, we're randomized those lever 3 tiles. We only have like half of the ones that are actually there. There's different ones of those. I mean, there's promo tiles that you can shuffle in that mix the game up. There's expansion tiles with crazy alien stuff. There's so much other stuff we haven't even touched from the base game and like the expansion that. Yeah. This is enough replayability for a while.
I'd like to play with the bigger group of people, just to see how it works out.
You guys said that.
I think
it's so good.
I think it would be cool.
That was my biggest fear in introducing you to this game. I was like, this is a long game. I was like, this is going to be like if I sat down to play Lord of the Rings, or when we were talking about sitting down to play Game of Thrones, I was like, don't worry, we're going to play the 4-player variant where it's only 2 hours. And it was like, okay, but if I invite you guys got to come over and play this epic space game. It's like 4 to 6 hours. They'd be like, no, I don't want to do that. But now that we've got in for like kind of a shorter game,
this would be a sick convention game of getting a bunch of people in on it.
Yeah. We need to do at least 6 people with more like the super aliens and all that.
Yeah, all the powers clashing and like, it's got to be so cool.
And Jim isn't invited.
Just like the board. Jim can start the first game and we'll just hand him the victory win. Go, Jim.
We need a good concede button.
With Jim.
Auto win. Yeah.
All in all, great game.
Yep. Awesome game. Thanks for playing, everybody. That was good times.
This is awesome. We need to.
We
need to play again.
I know. We gotta plan that out. It was funny, man. The other day when we left this, and we were only on round 8. I walked upstairs and I was like, Jen, this game was epic. I was like telling her about it. I'm like, you don't understand. Brian did this, and then I tagged Jeremy, and then I was like talking. She's like, so it was a really fun game, huh? I'm like, you don't even know. She's like, so who won? I was like, we're not done yet. Like, what? We got to start it again. I was all right.
Turn 8 was 45 minutes.
It really was. That last turn was like 40 minutes. Yeah, that was long. Anyway, we think we've gushed about this game enough. That was fun. Let's play this again soon. That was really awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, finally, we'll say goodbye. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.